So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. And we're back again with another Oppo research podcast as well. So, just in case you're unaware, last week I took a figari, as we say here in Ireland, to just kind of delve more into, I suppose, what fans of the opposition that we're playing really think of us. So, sometimes opposition fans will come on a podcast and they'll give a very sanitized, nice version of what they think of the club. And then sometimes you watch the podcast and they've got a completely different opinion. So, Bournemouth on the horizon today. We're going to take a look at some clips from two Bournemouth podcasts, actually 3 Bournemouth podcasts, maybe if we've time. But we're going to start off and take a listen to them. So what we essentially do here, for those of you who are new to this, is we will essentially watch the podcasts on and basically do commentary with them. So watch the podcast and do commentary with them. So the first podcast we are going to take a look at is which one of these? Back in the Net podcast, I think this one is. It's a huge Bournemouth podcast. So let's have a little look and listen to this one.
This season is crazy. We're more than a quarter way through the season, and both Bournemouth and Sunderland are in the European spots. Spurs and Manchester United are actually in the top half of the table. Well done, lads. And our opponents this weekend, Aston Villa, are 11th. What is going on? But the table, look, it's so condensed. A few poor results and teams can drop like a stone. Get a couple of wins, though, and you're right back up there. So a big game against Villa.
Just looking at the table there, I suppose, just to stop it here. And I will be stopping this intermittently. YouTube terms and conditions say that I do need to stop this and provide commentary on it every so often. So apologies if you weren't expecting that. I have to do it as part of it. But also, it's nice to talk about what we're hearing the fans say about our club as well. I think this is just interesting. I wanted to stop it here. A win over Bournemouth at the weekend has the potential to catapult Aston Villa right up the league once more, get us back into massive contention for one of those European places. And you can see how concertina the league is there. We're 5 points off 17th. We're 3 points off third. 4 points off second. So everywhere from second down to 17th is pretty concertinaed up there. But we'll continue on here and we'll see what the lads at Back of the Net podcast have to say.
A team who started poorly. Indeed, some fans were questioning the manager somewhat, but things finally started to click. And whilst a couple of results recently haven't gone their way, one win can propel them to the dizzy heights of 18 points, the same amount that the Cherries are on. It's a big weekend, mate.
It is a bit, mate. Yeah, as you said, they didn't. It was weird that they didn't start very well, because I remember when we did a show right at the start of the season, they had the best fixtures on paper, didn't they, according to the Opta and stuff. But they picked up again, which I always thought they would. A few teething problems in there.
That's interesting there about those stats, best fixtures at the start of the season, according to Opta. I'd say that's different now, given where Brentford are in the league, given where Sunderland are in the league, and so on. So, yeah, what's good, what looks good in July and August doesn't always turn out to be exactly truthful come September, October, November. So we'll continue on. And also, Bournemouth on a massive, brilliant run of form as well. Going to be obviously a tough game at the weekend.
But yeah, they're back to the Villa we know. They'll be there or thereabouts, mate, in them European spots for sure again. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see from our perspective whereabouts we are, because I think we're in that kind of we're trying to be in that second pack. So teams like Villa going away there and getting something would be a bit of a statement.
So this show is all about the opposition, and look, Villa fans, if you want some AFCB updates regarding this game, then the first part of our preview details everything you need to know about the mighty Ches as we build up to this game. We even grade every single one of our players that's taken to the pitch this season that's got significant minutes. So you might want to check that out in terms of who you should be keeping your eyes on this weekend.
It's good to watch a podcast that's got an actual plan, not like ours. This is like there's a lot of slick presenting here. I'm enjoying it.
And as you can see, we are at the amazing Q Sports Bar in Boscombe. And this game's live on Sky, isn't it, Tom?
It is indeed, yeah. Moved to a Sunday, 2:00. So, yeah, get on down and watch it if you're not at the game, for sure.
That's, of course, thanks to Villa's European game on Thursday night, which we need to talk about, of course, and we will, 2 p.m. kickoff. So why not come down here and watch it with fellow Cherries fans? And it's
Don't go down there if you're a Villa fan. Do not go down there if you're a Villa fan. It's not going to work out well for you. Specifically when if Villa are 1-0 up, keep a low profile.
It's a good place to be, not just now, but also Villa fans in February for the reverse fixture as well. And this place is exclusive for Villa fans when you come down here. Brand new home for away supporters when you visit Vitality Stadium.
Actually, do go there. So if it's an away pub, do go there. Sorry, I should have really watched on and because there seemed to be a sound bunch in that pub. Forget what I said previously. Just don't go down there on Sunday. That's what I would say.
It's about a 10 minutes walk from Folkestone Station and also a 10-minute walk to the ground as well. And there's loads of...
There you go. Some little bit of local research, some bit of local knowledge as well. So if you are traveling to the away game where we probably only get about 105 tickets, which obviously is fine. You are one of the lucky few that would be able to go to the away game. You know where to go.
Reasons why they should come down here, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really nice of us to give the away fans an away pub. Really nice.
Slight dig?
No, I'm just saying it's nice to have an away pub. They have great drink deals here as well. Hot food menu.
This is an ad. We've enough ad here gotten for that pub. Do go to it. Do look. It's important to support pubs. Pubs are closing all over the country. Same here in Ireland as well. Support pubs, especially when you go away. But we want to hear about Villa. Let's see where this leads us to.
Manchester City ending our 8-game unbeaten run. Our next game is away again, and Andoni Iraola faces a fellow Spaniard for the second game in a row in Unai Emery. It's the last game before international break, so we always want some positive momentum ahead of our next game after that, which I think is West Ham at home. Since Unai Emery's 2 full seasons in charge of Villa, this season in their opening 5 games, it's actually been their poorest. Villa, after 5, was sitting in 18th place with just 3 points, having drawn 3, lost 2. Now, after 10 games, though, they are in 11th position with 15 points. They've definitely picked up, having won 4 and lost 1 of their last 5 games. I think the Liverpool one was, of course, that last defeat. So they've definitely turned a corner. So I think this fixture, I know we were looking at Man City to compare where the Cherries are really at.
Yeah.
This probably provides more of an accurate barometer, would you say? Because Villa are closer to us, I think, than what Man City are.
Well, yeah, listen, if we're
I know they beat them, but they are.
Yeah.
That's a fair comment. That is a fair comment. And it's good that Villa are being used as a barometer now after 3 years in European football. And, Bournemouth looking to kick on to get a season in European football for themselves. And they're doing a damn good job of it so far this season.
No, they are. I think if we're talking about kind of where we want to be and maybe trying to sneak into a European position, then that's what Villa are obviously aiming at. Whereas, City, Liverpool, Arsenal are looking more at the title. Yeah. But Villa are one that, as you said, mate, it was a poor start they've had for a long time. But you still always feel, well, Villa will be thereabouts. Unai Emery, they'll be knocking on the Europe door. Obviously, they're in it as well this season. But
some fans were questioning him though, Emmett.
Yeah, I don't know if that was. Yeah, maybe it felt.
I mean, I looked at the hashtag.
Of course.
Never look at the hashtag. Never look at the hashtag. Social media is a minefield. Never look. Hashtag never look at the hashtag.
I did feel at the start of the season, even now to a degree, it feels a little bit stale. It does feel a little bit stale there. But he's still a top manager. They've got a top coach there. What is it really going to benefit? You're not going to get someone as good as Unai Emery, and I don't think. And I think they've got a good thing there. It's just, I'm sure we'll come on to it, but it's just a few of their players that, were getting good headlines last season. We're talking about, ex-Cherry Morgan Rogers, for example.
He's spiking my interest now. Which one of our players is he gonna say is worse than they actually are? That's what I'm wondering.
Watkins just dipped a little bit too much, and unfortunately, if you have a few of them doing that, it's going to affect. And obviously, we know they're the world's number. Can't even say it. The world's number 1 in goal is probably the worst goalkeeper in the league this season, so that probably doesn't help. He's up there.
Fuck off. He is not the worst goalkeeper in the league. We can say stuff like that in the heat of the moment if we want to, although we haven't. But come on, give us a break.
And he's having a poor season. So yeah, you got a few key players dipping below.
Yeah, there's a difference between having a poor season and being the worst goalkeeper in the league. Get out of town.
Their levels, it's going to affect things. But as you said, mate, they are turning the corner for sure.
Let's wind back to last season then, because our games against them were pretty tight.
Yeah.
Of course, Villa Park, October last season, it was goalless at half time, and then Villa were the first to score. Ross Barkley, I've got a stat about him, incredible record of scoring goals against the Ches.
Yes.
Not just Villa, of course, as we know. 76th minutes, that's fairly late on in the game, so we were all feeling a little bit despondent. However, Marcus Tavernier fired in a free kick, and bloody hell, what a header from O'Nilson.
Well, 6 minute of injury time, mate. And it was literally the last moment.
That statistic or the splash screen that they have there still irks me to this day, because I remember that game. And that was one of the 3 games, that game, Ipswich and Forest, through the whole course of the whole season, we referenced as the fact of games we should have won that we didn't win. And games whereby we gave away goals late on against, like that game, we should have won that game because Bournemouth were not really in that game at all.
And you know it is because when you watch it back, you remember our goalkeeper's up for it. So you know it's Travers. Yeah,
it was.
He had a great game. I always remember
save
from Anana.
He was incredible that day, Travers. Yeah,
he was brilliant. So yeah, Villa were the better side, and Travers had to keep us in it. But
wow,
we kept ourselves in the game, and as you say, yeah, nice little flick header from Evan Nilsson at the end. Meant it felt like we come out of it with a win when we didn't, and
90
they were gutted.
plus 6 minutes.
Yeah, and then obviously the one at our place was disappointing from our perspective, but again a real tight one. Watkins scored, didn't he?
Just before half time, we had like loads of stoppage time.
Yes, we did. You're right. And then Ramsey.
So I'm guessing you didn't see that.
Oh no, God no. And then Jacob Ramsey got sent off near the end, and we felt like we could do something. And Jebba had that chance. Remember? Header right at the end.
Yeah,
where went over the bar. But yeah, they, as you say, mate, they've always been tight, but Emery's always had that little bit of an edge.
Yeah.
Obviously he's at a bigger football club and stuff, but yeah, they've just nicked things, and we haven't beaten them for a while. Last time we beat them was Scott Parker, but they did have Steven Gerrard, so they'll probably say that's why they didn't win that game.
that is true. 2 good midfielders in their day. One of them a better manager than the other, and the better manager is not Steven Gerrard.
But yeah, we managed to win that one. Big Kiefer Moore and Jefferson Lerner, I think.
Yeah, it was. So a tale of 2 seasons, really, within a season for Aston Villa, you could say. But just looking on screen, if you're watching on YouTube, we're seeing the start of their campaign and some very disappointing results there, including, 3-0 home defeat to Crystal Palace. We know they're good, but losing 3-0 at home, not so good. And then a series of draws that really weren't good enough.
Yeah, obviously, losing to Brentford, they were disappointed in that game. And then the Palace one, like it's a weird one. They kind of got the Palace like we are against Forest. Villa struggled against Palace. And I know that, I think it's Sarr, that his record against Villa is unbelievable.
Good knowledge. Impressed by that.
But yeah, Palace, like you say, were flying high, but it was a surprise. The Everton 0-0 was like Everton battered them. Yeah. Everton battered Villa that day, and they were lucky to get out of a point.
But then Brentford.
My view of that game is sketchy. Did they batter us that day? Were we looking to get out of that with a point? I genuinely can't remember. I can't remember much of that game, but I'll take his word for it.
The Cup, yeah, we would have played Villa because we lost to Brentford, didn't we? The Sunderland one again. Sunderland went down to 10 men.
Yeah.
So you would start to look at it and go, something's not right here. The Bologna win seemed to just lift them a little bit in Europe, and sometimes that can do that for them. And then the Fulham game, I remember watching that. So I think it was a late kickoff. I remember watching it, and Fulham were ahead, and you're thinking this is not going well. And then Mings come off injured, and then Villa turned it round in the second half, 1-3-1. And they haven't really looked back from that. Went to final, obviously, in the cut, and then beat Burnley. Again, they left Mings out, and they managed to beat Burnley. Tottenham away was a big statement. Yeah. So I think us and Villa were at that point were the only 2 teams to win at Tottenham.
Yeah, right.
Villa won that. And then they decided, against Go Ahead Eagles, we'll bring Mings back in, give him a chance. They lost that one 2-1, then took him back out.
Mings shade, no minus points for me on that one, lads. I'm enjoying this podcast, though. I must say it's a good podcast as they go.
And beat Man City 1-0, mate. So turned a bit of a corner. But yeah, obviously the Liverpool game, disappointing. I felt like they went into that game with not enough belief that they could beat Liverpool, which was surprised me because Liverpool were not in a great place. But it's difficult to go to Anfield and win, mate, anyway.
And on Thursday night, of course, it was Maccabi Tel Aviv. Away fans, of course, were banned, and the stadium not as full as it should be, with even Villa fans
careful
not attending. But on the pitch, They got the job done, Tom, and that represents 3 wins and a draw for them now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I always felt they'd have too much, mate. And yeah, it was one of them things to just get that blooming job done, get the win, and they'll be a force in that competition for sure.
All right, so if you're watching YouTube on screen, you can see some of Aston Villa's transfer business. Tom, talk me through some of the ins that they've had, because they made a few moves.
Yeah, they did. I think Gweston's still a bit raw, but he looks like he could be a bit of a talent. They got him for over 20 million quid, didn't they? So he could be someone that ends up being a decent bit of business. I actually like.
That's going to be polarizing, I think, the comments to this one. As you guys know, I will always give players probably more of a chance than they deserve. If you didn't see my tweet about Evan Gassan, then his time at Nice and how Aston Villa are using him in a completely different way than he was used at Nice, and literally a completely alien way to the way that he played for Nice. Check that out as well. That's why he's not scoring 13 goals and having 8 assists like he did last season.
Bezo that they brought in, not for much at all, but I think with what's happening with Emmy at the moment, I think a lot of Villa fans want him in.
Where's they getting from?
I know what you're asking me. They got him from Brest, mate.
Okay.
Yeah. Lindelof was a weird one right at the end of the window, wasn't it? Getting him in on a free, but I guess it was just a cover. That was when we were linked with, we were linked with Dazazi that they had on loan.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
They ended up going for Lindelof. The weird one for me was Harvey Elliott, because I think what a signing.
Yeah,
he's barely kicked the ball. Very strange, and I think Villa fans as well are finding that surprising. And obviously Sancho, I think it was a no-brainer, just get him in on loan, and see how he does, a bit like what they did with Rashford. But they did lose some big players, mate. Obviously they're a little bit with PSR and stuff at the
Did we?
moment. So Ramsey, come through, so they get pure profit for that from Newcastle. Really, I like Jacob Ramsey, but he always had injury problems. I was surprised that Leon Bailey went.
Yes, they're counting the end of loans. Okay, all right. And does Marcus Rashford spell his name with a K? I don't know. I didn't think he did.
Because he always causes us problems, but maybe he wasn't a regular starter. So he went out to Roma, didn't he? And I saw that. I like a little shout out to Lewis Dobbin, by the way. He's on loan at Preston with Jebbo. He got the winner against Southampton recently.
Things I didn't expect to hear. Little shout out to Lewis Dobbin. But in fairness to him, if you watched our loan podcast, he's probably one of the players out on loan that is doing some of the best stuff. So interesting.
So big shout out to Lewis Dobbin. There were a lot of kind of frees and loans going out, but it was only really Jacob Ramsey that brought him in a decent bit of money there.
All right, let's check out our head-to-head. And weirdly, when I look at the stats on screen, if you're watching YouTube, we haven't actually played them that many times. No. It feels like we've played them more than we have. I mean, that is it. Sometimes when we play the team frequently, we just show the games from, like, I don't know, the last decade or, this century or whatever. That is all of them there. And
never played them in the 90s.
We had a pretty good run, didn't we? Look at that. 2016, of course, 1-2, 1-2, 2-1, 2-0. Yeah. Haven't beaten those since, you say, that Scott Parker inspired victory at the start of the season. And recently it's not been too good, but LDL, if that trajectory happens, we'd take a point from there, right?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, probably would still, but it's weird, and Villa fans will say it shows the eras there quite evidently, because we had a good run against them when they were kind of got relegated, and then when they come back up and they were not in a good place. But of late, as I said, Emery's got them going again, and we've really struggled against Emery teams. I remember that 3-0 at their place. I think that was Gary O'Neill. We really were back.
I was there for that game, that 3-0 at Villa Park. It was interesting game for sure
that day. So hopefully we've closed the gap a little bit, as you see in the last couple.
Unbeaten in their last 5 then, and of course, the first 2 Premier League away games against Villa were wins, but now winless. I actually thought, I sent you this the other day, I haven't seen a win there, but I totally have.
Yes, you're thinking of, which one did we win there? The one where we won a penalty early
doors,
and then took out
then Harry Wilson had a shot that deflected off someone.
I deflected off Tyrone Mings' arse. So nice of Mings to get a goal for us. And
Tyrone Mings shared again, more minus points.
And then I think they pulled one back, but we hung on 2-1.
Yeah.
And I went, I think, before, but I'm not sure if you were at the one we beat them.
No, I wasn't.
2-1. I think you scored late for them.
I was watching a stream of that one. Such a plastic.
No, you were, mate. But so we had a couple of good 2-1s there. But of late, they've all been tight.
They have
recently,
been tight.
So yes.
In all our away games against Villa, Bournemouth have 1-2, drawn 2, lost 3. In all competitions, though, Bournemouth have 1-5, drawn 3, lost 7. This thing I'm going to tell you is terrible, right? So you know that we lost last week against Manchester City.
I do.
We haven't lost consecutive Premier League games since May,
Oh, good.
which were defeats against Manchester City and Aston Villa.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one there. I know that it's a small sample set, but like Unai Emery goes through a lot of these periods where he doesn't lose consecutive games in a row as well. And Areola is from the same part of Spain, so maybe it must be something that keeps them up at night and keeps gnawing away at the back of their incredibly talented managerial brains. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
That doesn't bode well, does it?
No, not ideal.
What does bode well is the league table, though.
No,
And
no.
let's just enjoy the fact that we are where we are at the moment. Hopefully, we can continue our trajectory. AFC Bournemouth 5th in the Prem, in a Champions League spot, even with the coefficients going our way.
Interesting, that league, if you look at the form table there as well, for Bournemouth, draw, win, and then a loss, so it's because of the concertina nature of the league. Drawing games is fine currently, whereas in previous years, well, not really, I suppose, at this part of the season. Yeah, maybe at this part of the season, drawing games was not great. But it looks like the teams that are going to lose less games. Watch this for insight. This is the insight that you'll only get on For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. It's the teams that don't lose games finish highest in the league. Yeah. I know it's a crazy way of thinking, but statistically, actually, would you believe every single year since league football has started, the team that loses or the team that accumulates the most points by drawing and by winning wins the league. Mad. I know. I stumbled across that on the internet somewhere recently.
Fantastic stuff.
Oh, it looks good, doesn't it?
Aston Villa are 11th, but that is how condensed it is. This league table can change absolutely massively. I would be surprised if it looked anything similar, even in like 3 games' time.
I think
this is why we've got to keep up momentum. And look, from a Bournemouth perspective, I know you say don't look at fixtures on paper, but on paper, I mean, apart from Sunderland now, who are 4th, our fixtures are all right. Let's put a run together, eh?
Yeah, you never know, mate. And as I say, I think I might get that league table frame though, because you think if the Villa are favourites for this game, that can look a lot worse if we lose it, couldn't it? But we're not going to do so, don't worry about it.
Right, let's check out the team news. Of course, things may be changed. We're recording this very soon after the Thursday night game. Therefore, it's difficult to know, but we certainly know players that are definitely not going to be available.
Yeah, Andres Garcia hasn't really played this season. I don't think he's back up anyway. And real strange one, Mingsley got a knock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's not normally out for long. Yeah, he come on the pitch. I think he kicked the ball once. He's
Tyrone Mings shade, more minus points.
out for 7 weeks. So shame for Mingsley. Just sit there in his tracksuit potentially. But yeah, he's going to be missing. What?
I sense an agenda.
No, I'm just saying the fact.
As do I. An
agenda.
I was just saying some facts, mate. But yeah, Mings is injured. Yeah, what more
He
do we
always
say?
spoke really well in the media, I think.
Yeah, no, he's good in the bit. I'll tell you what, he'd be bloody good in the podcast. That's what he's.
Come on!
I reckon he's been on just as many podcasts as he has played football matches. He's on a lot of.
Just. What was it about social media? Get the hashtag going. Now I'm anti hashtag. Let's get the hashtag going or something along there. Free Mings.
For all this stuff that you're saying, right, you'd be the type of fan that if you saw him, you'd get a selfie with him.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh,
I wouldn't get a selfie.
1,000,000% he'd get a selfie with him and put it up put it up on the internet saying, "Oh, let bygones be bygones, Tyrone," or something. 1,000,000,000,000% he would.
You're Tyrone Mings, you're on about knobhead.
Well, he's not a player to watch at the weekend, but maybe we can give a couple of mentions to others, and one of which was at the Chairs. We never saw it coming. We've spoke about it on previous pods, but Morgan Rogers, always a thorn in our side as well.
Yeah, and he'll be trying to impress again. Try and stand out in the squad where he's done really well. I'd say he's probably dipped a little bit from his levels. Well, he has clearly, but that he did at Villa last season. But you've seen on last season the quality he's got, which it's just bonkers to us Bournemouth fans.
Just literally never. I mean, we've said about it previously, but just to underline, we never saw that coming at all.
I never saw I thought I'd struggle to see a Championship player there. I mean, we were in the Championship at the time, and he was terrible for us. But
developing players, some players develop at Villa, some players develop at Bournemouth, I suppose. Yeah. And he is a massive. Morgan Rogers is an absolutely huge shining light for the development of Villa. Have done with him, and we haven't done it with a ton of players, but he has come on leaps and bounds, and I do want to plant my flag in the middle of the centre circle of Villa Park and say this, that when Villa played Middlesbrough in the FA Cup, I did say Morgan Rogers looks like he's got all the talent within that team. So I'm going to pat myself in the back slightly for that one. But I couldn't, like, obviously no one could ever have seen the rapid rise of him and the immediate change once he put on a claret and blue jersey under Unai Emery. It's been great.
Yeah, fair play to him. Maybe we got him a little bit too early. He wasn't quite ready. Maybe the Parker style football didn't help because he went straight to Borough and done really well.
Yeah.
But even when Villa got him, everyone was a bit like, "God, that's a bit of a leap." And he's just gone in there and been brilliant. So, fair play to Emery for getting out of him, and obviously fair play to Morgan Rogers doing really well. And yeah, if Buendia does play, I think it's going to be tough for him. But he is there jointly in score at the moment. He's always a dangerous player. I always remember him at Norwich. He used to cause some problems. He was really good, really underrated player. So yeah, maybe one to watch. But as I say, I think Rogers will play. So he's one that he scored against us since he's gone back there a few times. So.
Let's predict the Villa side then. What we got then?
We have to go for the world number one. Maybe Martinez in goal, mate. Hopefully. Think he'll be in goal. I think you can never say Cash. You have to say
minus points for Emi Martinez shade. Only we're allowed to do that.
Matty Cash.
Yeah, you have to.
Have to. He'll be at right back. Konza and Torres will be centre backs because they got an injury at centre back anyway. And I quite like Maatson, but I think I'm going to go with Digne in this one at left back as well. I'm going to go Kamara and Onana in the middle, which is, by the way, a very underrated pairing in there. Yeah. Really good. And I think it'll come too soon for Tielemans. McGinn kind of off that left side, but tucking in, which, if you saw the other show, I put Lewis Cooking at right back for us. And that's because I think that with McGinn coming in, he'll try and narrow the pitch.
Okay, right.
So I think Cookie might try and follow him. Guesson, I'm going to go with off the right side, and Morgan Rogers in behind Ollie Watkins up top.
Glad you didn't name Ross Barkley in that starting 11, because there is a stat that Villa's Ross Barkley has only been involved in more Premier League goals against Newcastle than he has against Bournemouth. 4 goals, 3 assists. Scoring.
Hey, here's the bad news. I can see him being involved in some way, shape or form at the weekend.
Of course, in the 1-1 draw at Villa Park last season.
I mean, I remember him scoring in the classic 3-3 against Everton.
Also for Luton.
Oh, yeah, of course. And I know the other one. The other one, I was going to say, we got battered to Everton away, and he celebrated before he put the ball in the net. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, but he has got a really good record against us. It's one of them players that always seems to pop up, and as you said, he did it for Villa off the bench anyway, so he might be one to watch out for if he comes on the pitch.
I did an appearance on the Up the Villa podcast, and one thing that he sort of said was, how do you think this weekend's going to go? I didn't really predict, but what I did say is that whoever wins, I think it's just going to be a goal in it. I don't think Villa are going to beat us 2-0. I think there's a certain scoreline. If they score more than 2, then they go above us in the table on goal difference.
Right, okay, yeah.
Hopefully they won't, though.
I'm pretty sure they're -1, aren't they? And we're +3.
Oh yeah. I'm going to come to you, Tom.
Yeah.
I actually didn't see that episode you did with Luca and Up the Villa, but I think he's probably right in that one. I think Villa, we're not massive goal scoring threats at the moment. So I think he's probably right in that one. 1-0 or 2-1 either way.
Yeah. Because AFC Bournemouth is above Aston Villa, but then it's not alphabetical because it's goal scored and all that kind of stuff. Either way, I'm going to come to you for a prediction. What's it going to be then?
I think I was saying last week, I did predict us to lose at Man City, didn't I? So 2-1, it was 3-1. And I said, after the game, I remember I was doing a reaction afterwards, and I just thought, the way we're playing and stuff, you take the Haaland out of I'm looking at it, and they've played another fixture. I really fancy us. I don't know why. Because Villa are a bloody good side, especially at home, as we've seen. And them stats are scaring me a little bit, but I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Bournemouth.
Oh!
I fancy us to nick a goal and then be able to see them out. I don't know why. Got a little feeling that for the first time, Andoni's going to beat Emery, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. What about you?
1-0.
1-0?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 1-0. And I think I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, obviously, when you say about kind of draws away from home.
Right. First of all, I like this podcast. I like the way the two guys kind of bounce off each other there. Really, really good podcast. Enjoyable listen. Yeah, look, we got involved in it with a small little bit of banter and messing and joking about the Tyrone Mings stuff. But Back in the Net podcast, the Bournemouth podcast gets a big thumbs up for me. Really good. Seem like really good guys, and also gave you some information on an away boozer to go to if you are at Bournemouth. Now, I'm going to do a small piece on with another one. Which one will I pick? these guys or these guys? We'll get these guys because I liked I like these guys as well when I watched a bit of their stuff. So give me 2 seconds there now while this I'll pop it in theater mode and get those guys off. I did enjoy that podcast now, in fairness, and that's one of the things that I think I'm going to get from this is that you get to see some good presenters and well produced podcasts as well. So here we go. This is the Up the Cherries Bournemouth fan channel. So let's take a look at this one.
Yeah,
I think they could have got a result at Liverpool, especially with the way Liverpool been playing. So yeah, I don't know. I just think
sorry,
maybe
I bit about here. I think is where it starts
up as well because we want to prove a point that we deserve to be up there where we are at the minute. That's the main thing that, and I'm sure Andoni and the team, will be working hard and have worked hard this week. In training and getting things right that probably didn't go well against City. So yeah, it could be a question you could ask Villa possibly as well.
of course. Villa's last game out at Villa Park was against Manchester City.
I'm actually going to roll into this a small bit because we just drop a pin here because obviously we'll be going over an awful lot of the same stuff that was done before. I did watch this, but unfortunately I didn't write down timestamps as to where they start to give opinions on Villa. But let's go. I'll drop a pin here.
He's had some good games against him though.
There's been some.
Let's see.
So I just think with the start of the season where they sort of spluttered a little bit, then they picked up a bit, and now they've had a defeat again recently. He isn't going to want to, have that sort of inconsistency creeping again that they had at the start of the season. So it's going to make it a bit more of a tougher game, I think, when we go up to Villa Park. In fairness, when we do come to face them on Sunday, but when you look at Andoni's record against him as well, Andoni's yet to beat him in 5 meetings, which I always say there's always a time. So why isn't that not this Sunday? Let's hope.
No, not going to be this Sunday. Hopefully, not going to be this Sunday. It is interesting, though, that we're seeing more and more managers have blank spots against other managers. Probably goes to the point of, maybe the sanitization of the game and the over tacticalization of the game as well. I don't know. I'm sure somebody with a far bigger footballing brain than me would be able to tell the full story on that one.
It is. But yeah, no, over five different fixtures, Andoni hasn't managed to get the better of him. So
he's had some good games against him, though.
There's been some close games, isn't there? Obviously we drew last season at Villa Park, didn't we? But he's which I thought was an excellent result.
That still shot, actually, there's a lot in that still shot that reminds me of what went on before it as well, with regards to the setup for that free kick or that cross for the for that goal. Not the defense's finest hour.
To be fair, at the time, going up there and nicking the point, because I think they were pretty on decent form at the time, Villa. And the home game, unfortunately, there was it was a bit of a disappointing performance, I think, with home game from what I can remember. But overall, when you look at both of them, they're two fantastic Spanish coaches, aren't they? Both in different times in their career. Obviously, you've got Emery, who's, I would say, probably at the elite level, in fairness, with what he's achieved in European football. Like you said, those 4 times Europa League wins. And his tactical abilities as well. I think he's the man that's gonna, I think, stabilize Villa as a European challenging club each season. I think.
Hopefully so. 3 years already. Let's make it 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how you start to get up your coefficient, get the advertisers in, get the sponsors in, and that's how you grow your revenue. Success grows revenue. Consistent success grows revenue. All you've got to do is ask any fan of one of the so-called top 6.
I really do. I know that I think as long as Villa stay with him, I think he's going to be competing to achieve European football, whether it be Champions League, Europa League, each season to come. Whereas Andoni is just making.
Interesting there that both podcasts have been like, as long as Villa stay with Unai Emery, as long, I know the last one said, he's a great manager and Villa would do well to get a better manager than him, and that's absolutely factual at this moment in time. Just interesting that the small 2-week rumblings of is Unai the right man to take us forward that happened has in opposition fans' mind has just eclipsed the 3 months of everybody kneeling at the altar of Unai, which the majority of football fans still were doing. And it just goes to show that the small minority, I suppose, of people who were Unai out for that brief 2.5-week period, they seem to get a lot of traction on social media, which is probably par for the course in 2025.
Waves throughout, world football, isn't he?
Of course,
with
yes.
his football, with his philosophy and his high pressing play and all the attractive football that we're privileged to watch week in, week out. He's obviously causing a stir. So it'd be interesting to see. You've got, like I say, you've got the elite in Emery and you've got the up and coming new boy. So it'd be interesting to see if the new boy, well, not so new boy, but the younger, less experienced one out of the two, hopefully get one over on the elite one on Sunday.
Yeah, and again, look, I think that's a fair assessment. I would imagine that the two managers potentially could be close. I don't know if I've ever seen anything from the two of them from a very, very similar region, an incredibly talented footballing region, a footballing hotbed of Spain as well. So it's I can't remember whereabouts in Spain, what the name of the region in Spain, the specific mini region that they're in within the Basque Country is. But apparently you could throw a blanket over 3 towns, and within those 3 towns, I think that there's X amount of talented managers has come out of there. So just a real footballing hotbed, and well done to Areola, because it's he has brought a real breath of fresh air in a lot of what he's done to not just Bournemouth but to the Premier League as well.
Well, we shall see. But Villa do have lots of threats up there. What would you say are the 3 players that we've got to keep an eye on?
We'll listen to this and then we might call it a day then for the podcast as well. I'm want to keep these opposition podcasts to maybe 40-45 minutes as well. I think we've got some good stuff so far. So we'll hear what the threats are, and then we might wrap a bow on this one.
Well, all in all, good depth squad, I think that they have got. Yeah. You can name plenty of players like Matty Cash is one I'm a fan of. I think he's a fantastic attacking right back. Has popped up with a couple of goals from this season as well. Konza, we've seen what he's done for England. Brilliant player. Then you have got the.
Just going to pause it there, Matty. Yeah, it is interesting, I suppose, the recency bias for Matty Cash, but having a spectacular of a season as we mentioned so far. Interesting, it gets mentioned out there as as well. But Konza getting his flowers from other fans, love to see that. Absolutely love to see that, because now he's essentially vice captain for Aston Villa. His feet are firmly under the table. England centre half, and England's probably England's first choice centre half at the moment. And playing some really, really good football for Aston Villa.
Experienced heads of the likes of Tyrone Mings, who we all know about.
Yes.
You look into their midfield, they've got an excellent...
What? Didn't ever crack off Tyrone Mings?
To midfield, I think the ex-Leicester player Talisman, I think he's out injured, I believe.
Yes,
Tillemans, that's it. Yeah, he's out.
Back now. I know this podcast was recorded on Wednesday, I think, so obviously I don't think any of us really fully expected Tielemans to be in the squad for Thursday, but so forgive them for that.
Which is a bit handy for us, because on his day, he not only is he attacking wise, he can assist and score many goals, and his direct passing is fantastic as well, and his direct runs he makes, he's a real asset. So he's handy that he's out. But you look across the rest of it, and there's an excellent squad he's got there. But the 3 I've picked to watch, my personal 3, and the first one that I've picked is a player that I'm really fond of. Actually, I think he's fantastic.
There we are, Amadou.
Yeah, I was practicing it before we come on. Amadou Onana. Really good player. I really, really like this player. I like his physical performances that he puts in. Great ball winner. He was recently described as Villa's most important player in the win against City. and he broke up a lot of play against Rodri, disrupted his rhythm as.
Yeah, he played well against City for sure. I don't remember. Did Rodri play in that game? My mind is like mush these days. I can remember facts from and what player moved in the transfer market back in 1999, but like the Everton game, as I mentioned there, I have very little recollection of the Everton game, and for the City game, a very little recollection of what their lineup was. I just know that our team played really, really well, and probably it's because even watching it back, I've been focusing in on player movement, spacing, and things like that as well. So yeah, but he played really, really well against City. Did Onana
as well.
Yeah.
And that helped Villa control the midfield in that game. So yeah, Adams for us, Tyler Adams, he's going to be very, very key against this guy. In terms of the battle in the midfield, as our transitional midfield anchor, he's gonna come up against a really, really good player on Sunday, and this guy is someone that I really enjoy watching.
Yeah, I just googled it there. Rodri didn't play against Villa, from what I can see here. No, because I was just wondering, because a lot would be made of them losing with Rodri in the team. So it was Silva, Foden, and Reinders were the three, and then they did bring on Nico Gonzalez, and yeah.
Played well at Everton as well. I'm sure Everton were pretty gutted when he moved on to Villa. But since he's been at Villa, I think he's kind of that linchpin in the midfield. So, I always like that kind of man, that can win the ball. That's why I like Tyler. I've really grown on Tyler. Tyler Adams has really grown on me, should I say? Since he's made himself, one of the first names on the team sheet, because I like those ball-winning players. I really do. So he's someone that excites me. But the man between the sticks, made an absolute howler at Liverpool, as we briefly touched on. But world-class keeper still. For me, I know a lot of people describe him as trying to describe the word without actually using it. But house is in the word. If you get but yeah, again, he's the reliable last line of defence, isn't he? Okay, yeah, forget the howler, but great shot stopper. He's very, very key in tight matches for him as well, because if they're winning 1-0, he's the kind of man you want in your goal to keep an equaliser out. He's an extremely good shot stopper. Distribution, I think, is pretty good as well, apart from that howler against Liverpool. But on his day, he's going to be very, very key for stopping the likes of the young Krupi, Semenyo, whoever else is in our attack on that day. He's going to be very, very key for keeping the ball out of the net from them. So my last one is someone that I think has had a bit of an up and down season for Villa, but internationally has come on really, really well. And that's an ex-loan player that we didn't really see the best of, to be fair, unfortunately. And that's Morgan Rogers.
Yes.
He's been excellent in an England shirt when called upon by Tuchel. I think if he can carry on playing, if he's selected for England and playing well for England, if he can improve his club form going forward between now and May, I think for me he's on the plane. I think.
I'm going to call it here at this, because I kind of agree with that, but I think he's on the plane already from that point of view. So listen, that was those guys are good guys as well. The guys on the sorry, I've completely forgotten which one that they were, because they've got very similar sounding. Up the Cherries fan channel as well. So listen, look, that's a small bit of opposition research there. Two very interesting podcasts. Two what seem like two great podcast there as well, and it's always good to get the opposition fans' views on this. If you do like this, please like, subscribe, share it out here as well. This is a format I think we're going to continue on for the rest of the season, and thank you so much for your time, your patience, and for always watching. So we will be back again with more stuff with regards to team sheet tantrums and post-match podcasts for the Bournemouth game. In the meantime, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, and